Thank you, Mr. Chairman. In my opening statement, I made the point that the problem you've all identified with some consistency still can't be based on who we like or dislike, and the testimony certainly highlighted the point that I tried to make. Also, in reference to the statement that was just made about the IRS has just lost 27,000 employees. I'm wondering if there's anybody left working down there to undertake these sophisticated audits that have to take place about foreign intervention. And I also think that it was not stated, but I think that in briefings I've had over the years, there's been, particularly from former Speaker Pelosi, she raised the question many times about contributions to universities and how that plays out. I hope part of the focus as we go forward would be part of that. So I want to ask you a quick question, and maybe a yes or no answer would be appropriate. Let's start on the right to the left, and if you could just give me a yes or no before I come back to a couple of questions that I have. Is the $400 million jet problematic?
Yes. On its face, I don't have enough information, but I would certainly, it's suspect in my opinion.
I feel that topic of the committee I thought was on nonprofits, so I don't think I have the sufficient information to answer that question.
Thank you for that question. Very similar answer. I was brought as a witness to examine loopholes in our campaign finance system, of which the Qatar jet was not, so I'm unable to opine on this subject.
Yeah, and I too am not properly qualified as an expert in that sort of law.
So thanks for reinforcing the point that I made in my opening statement. Mr. Weissman, as you know, the Presidential Library, a tax-exempt charity, has received and accepts gifts from foreign governments, including a $400 million luxury plane from Qatar. It's been reported that Qatar received $142 billion in an arms deal. So do you have any explanation as to why a $400 million jet would be given to the president?
I think the explanation is the obvious one. They were seeking to win influence with the president, and I think they succeeded at doing so.
Thank you. And let me follow up, Mr. Weissman. Yesterday, the Washington Post reported that a federal judge is reviewing the legality of private donors funding the ballroom. I don't even have to say which ballroom. We all know which ballroom I'm referencing. Without objection, I'd like to enter the Washington Post article into the record, Mr. Chairman.
Without objection.
Thank you. Mr. Weissman, what is known about the ballroom's funding and the Freedom 250 projects?
Well, we have some idea of who's funding the ballroom, not complete, and maybe there are others that we do not know. We were able to analyze the 24 known corporate donors at the early stages of the ballroom. 16 of them had government contracts going back over the last 5 years, totaling $270 billion in federal contracts. My view is they were funding the ballroom not out of a sense of civic pride, but out of a sense of they can get something back in return. A couple of those companies, as you mentioned in your statement, are domestic subsidiaries of foreign businesses. I think as we look now to the Freedom 250 project, which seems to be a comparable fundraising effort, we're going to see the same kind of problem. Lots of money from businesses with business before the United States government, including potentially subsidiaries of foreign businesses. And by the way, because these are going to be through C3 operations, we are not going to know who all the funders are unless there's an affirmative decision by the nonprofits linked to the president to disclose them.